welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us for another great show. We got a great show for you tonight. I got an artist friend of me, Kimberly Weiss, joining me today. She's going to show off some of her art, tell us a little bit about her, and we're going to check out some of her different things she's got going on. We got a great story for you tonight, which I'll go over in a minute, and then we got a great little game we're going to play at the end of the show. So again, thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited to be back into doing the show every week, and so let's go into our intro, and then I'll see you on the other side. All right. While my guest is getting attacked by the cat, we are back. Kimberly, thank you so much for joining me. Do you go by Kim or Kimberly? Which one do you prefer?
It doesn't matter. All
right. So just so you know, when you buy your art,
just don't call me Kimmy. That's all I ask. Kim or Kimberly.
I was going to start a new trend.
Man.
I know.
I have a couple of people that I let that slip. But, you know.
They got to know you for a while.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. This is your first time on the show. I think it's your first time being in my place, too.
Yes.
So, as some of you may not know, I actually have some Kim art from Odyssey Arts right here on my wall. I bought this actually before you find yourself over at Ailmatic, which I've got the shirt on as well. So, I'm excited that she's going to be there all month showing off your artwork. So, I was excited to get her on here because I've been following her for a while. I actually have known you probably about 10 years now. So I used to, back in like around 2010, I had like a music website, Kokoro Total Music, as part of my martial arts series where all my black belts had to excel in either art, music, or literature. So along those lines, I had a music website. I used to follow bands, used to go to their shows and interview them, talk to them, record them playing, and put them on YouTube. The old videos are actually still on YouTube. So like you can actually go to my Kokoro Total Music on YouTube and find the old 2010, 2011 shows I used to go and record a little, HD
now you're
camera.
making me nervous. People are going to look up old videos of me.
Yeah, I know I met you, but I can't remember if I actually recorded one of your shows. I know I was there at one of your shows. I know I talked to you briefly. So I've known her for a long time. She's and is it Far From Eden?
Yes.
Yeah, so she's, I've known her from from singing days. She still sings, obviously, but that's where I know her from. This is, before I even knew she was like an artist, like a drawing artist or a paint artist. I knew her as a musician artist. So I love meeting creative people because there's no limit to how you can express yourself. Like me with my writing and stuff, it's like, so you have music, but then you also do art, and that's why I've always felt that art was very important. Even when I have martial arts schools, because they had the fighting, but I also want them to, balance that off. So they had to excel in either art, music, or literature as part of their black belt training to kind of help them balance that. So not only did they have to learn the advanced techniques, but they also had to kind of excel in another medium.
You train the mind.
They allowed them to find that balance because back in feudal Japan when they finally ended the war, and then samurai all of a sudden find themselves without war to fight. A lot of them became poets and artists to kind of offset, not being able to kill people just like randomly. Anymore. So, but yeah, so
I think that's where most artists get our art.
It keeps us.
Not always, but a lot of artists, definitely will find their art from pain. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. I mean, it doesn't. It's not always that way. There's definitely lots of happy stuff out there.
Right.
But it's no secret. It shouldn't be any secret to anyone.
No.
That's the case.
Some of my best work is when I'm in like in that state where I've been drinking or I'm upset or something's happened. Mm-hmm. That's when I find myself really writing my most emotional work. Other than that, a lot of it's it's more top layer. So I also find writing very therapeutic too, so it helps quite a bit. So I'd imagine along the same lines with music and your art, it could be very therapeutic as well.
Yeah, I mean, well, for sure, because you were talking about how you met me through music, right? Mm-hmm. And before the show, we were talking about kind of how I got into doing Odyssey Arts, or how I ended up here doing Odyssey Arts. And for probably the last 10, 15 years, really, it's not that I've avoided my art skills, but I employed my music skills more to satisfy those needs.
Right.
And I really focused a lot on that. And then when the pandemic came last year, I had already started painting in winter because I hate doing gigs during winter. I absolutely you ask any of my bandmates, they'll tell you I hate winter. Well, first of all, I hate the cold.
Right.
But second of all, just winter gigs just never seem to work out. They're at least in Ohio.
Right. You get some pretty rough winters around here sometimes.
Right. California winter gig might be all right, but
what are you talking about? Like, I love January in California.
Oh. And so then when the pandemic came, like I kind of really felt devastated. I was like, as a singer, in a disease that you get from expelling your breath, that was like cutting my arm off. Right. And I was, for a while, I thought, like, am I going to be able to even, when's the next time I can have a show? People were talking about putting singers in boxes, and I think they even did that. I've seen some interesting setups.
Interesting. I even tried to get my brother to do some live streaming. I don't know if you thought about that. I know some singers like do some live stream, but yeah, not the same thing for sure as doing live gigs.
And so I just like, when that happened, I was like, I had to dive into this other part of me and really go for it because I was like, what else am I going to do? I can't sit here and think about that all the time. We were scheduled to go in the studio last year. And all this stuff got totally changed. And so I refocused on my art. It was really funny how it ended up coming together because I started with my paintings. But then I already know how to do some website design. And so I started a website. And then I have my business degree, so I know some things about setting up shops and all of those things. So I started doing these things, and the next thing you knew, we were talking about, you were asking where I get some of my things printed at. And I was starting to get my art printed onto other
mediums, like
objects,
shirts,
like
coffee
mugs and leggings and
are the ones you wear, is that your artwork?
These leggings, yes, these are my artwork.
Nice.
Yeah, totally. And because of that, I ended up basically coming back to fashion design, which is something that I studied when I was 18, and thought that's what I was going to be. I was a fashion designer when I was 18. That was the only thing that Kim wanted to do.
Wow. Like, Devil Wears Prada came out.
But I'm way too utilitarian and no nonsense, really. So I kind of got away from that and then went towards my business skills, right? And then came back to it. So here I am, like 20 years in a loop, coming back to things that I did a long time ago and bringing all of these different varying skill sets together in to make Odyssey Arts.
I feel like we're like kindred spirits because I remember when back in like 2010 I had my my music website Coco Rotondo Music, and I would go around following bands and stuff, and I had like a page that I would promote the different bands and stuff, and you came along with a Dayton music band. I tell you what, it cracks me up because she was so good at it. Like I would go to her like
for
page
Music Connection
to
Dayton,
find page, yeah. And she kept that up. You did pretty much by yourself for the most part too, didn't you? I know you had bands like giving you information.
Well, I did have help. About probably 2 years into that project, I did a friend of mine who I'd met through music, Jimmy Cummings. He was working with Buckeye Music Magazine, which was its own other thing, and not the same thing as what I was trying to do.
Right.
But he ended up coming and working with me and helping me do a lot of stuff, taking photography and. At all the shows and helping me put things together. But yeah, for the most part, it was me.
Yeah.
It was me. I was at the time, I was in 2 bands. I was in Far From Eden, but Far From Eden at that time was acoustic. And we were like, it was just like myself and my boyfriend Nate, and we would play some covers, a few little originals. It's just literally him and I.
Right.
And I also had my other band was Killed by Art. That was my primary band at the time.
I remember. Yes,
Killed by Art.
But
I was trying to, I was trying to book for both of those bands, and then I was like,
you're also having all these other bands.
These giant lists, and then suddenly I was like, wait, but Dayton has so much music. How do people not know that all of this exists? And it's not like it's just a lot of music.
Right.
It's really, there's some really primo music.
I love the
all
Dayton music scene.
Different genres. So, Yeah, so I got hooked into that for quite a while. Yeah.
And then, of course, I had to learn with my martial arts school, learn web design and stuff with my personal training.
Oh, that's cool.
Because you couldn't afford to. And you did that as well. You did web design because you're starting your own business, and you kind of had to do that yourself.
I learned it through a previous job I had, but yeah, I was like, I'm going to make this.
And I think the final thing is that she's not confined to a box. Like she does, like whatever she puts her mind to, you accomplish. And that's one thing, people talk to me about because of my writing, because of my, I'm in IT with my cybersecurity, personal training I've done at martial arts schools. It's like I'm all over the place, and it's like, man, it's like, how do you do it? So it's nice to come across somebody that's like, just whatever you expand and you do it well. It's
so I mean, if you're gonna, I love being diverse. I love having all that, but. I mean, I sometimes I feel like I'm like, which thing do I really want to do?
Right.
Like, do I really like? Some people are really like into one thing, right? And I kind of I'm jealous of that.
Right. I honestly I am too.
I feel like I'm all over the place.
I felt it would be a lot more successful if I just focused on like one thing.
Okay.
But it's not who I am. It's
so
like,
I'm not alone.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like I feel like we have a lot in common in that sense because we're just.
If you guys out there, you gotta comment and you gotta tell us if you feel the same way.
Right.
Whether you're artists or not, maybe you just feel that way in general as well. Let us know.
I often look in the past and like, man, I just sat down and just focused on my career. If I chose that as my career path, went that way, I'd probably be successful. If I just focused on just my IT, I'd probably be successful. But honestly, my mind doesn't work that way. It's like I need to have so many different, that diversity, like you said, I need that because it's how I kind of keep going. It's like if I focus too much, then I get bored very easily too. So if I stay in one lane,
for sure,
then I'm like, ugh. And I'm like, look, the grass is greener over here. But if I'm like doing all these different things, then my mind is constantly being challenged. Constant, and I found that that's what I was drawn to is the challenge more than necessarily that I just have all these great ideas or these wild ideas. Is that I'm drawn to challenges. Like I feel like I have a gift in something, and I feel like I'd be letting it go to waste if I didn't pursue it in some form or fashion. So you did bring some art with you. Now, one thing when I came across her. Now, were you? Did you start in canvas, or did I get this? Or did you start in a different material and move over to canvas?
Well, I mean, initially my paintings definitely were canvas.
Right.
Like, when I first started, but like pretty quickly I decided like, I don't want to just do canvas.
Right.
I love hitting up thrift stores and picking up like a cool tin. It's probably a Christmas tin more than likely because everyone turns in their Christmas tins because no one wants to keep Christmas tins.
Except for me, because I found we use them at some point. Which I never do.
But they're still a totally valuable and usable object, right? No one wants to look at Christmas stuff all year.
Right.
They just don't. So, like, I like picking those up for like 20 cents or 50 cents or something like that. Taking that, painting it. And metal is really fun to paint on.
Yeah.
I've picked up like weird objects, like somebody lost a hubcap on the side of the road next to our house, and it was beautiful looking hubcap. I mean, it wasn't anything super fancy or expensive or anything. It's still plastic, but it was cool looking design and kind of tribal looking.
Right.
And so I poured on that, and I still have that. I
see a good story behind that. I have a guy who loses his hubcap. One day he's driving back and goes to a garage sale or whatever. And all of a sudden he sees his paint. It's like, I think that's my hubcap.
And we have been having garage sales, so you never know.
You never know. Antique shops or, just becomes famous. All of a sudden he's going to a museum. He can't even get close to it. His hubcap's on the wall.
And then pretty quickly, I did start doing the printing on objects.
Hey, why don't you guys feel free to show some of your stuff here too?
So of course, like the leggings I'm wearing are a pair, and then like I brought a couple of other things. Like this is a pair of leggings a customer just ordered from me, and she hasn't even seen them yet.
Right, so she better be watching because they'd be like, I saw them. And now you know if you see somebody.
Peg, those are for you, honey. And she actually ordered with that. I took the same painting. And I did a matching set of these small pillows.
Nice. Which
are pretty cool. And it's a different design on each side slightly. So I can make them however I want them, which is really cool. And I also, here underneath me, I've got this beautifully soft throw, which is a giant, gorgeous painting. And I even the most recent thing, I have not done any menswear yet.
Okay.
Until now.
All right. What do you got?
But I ordered a friend of mine ordered a pair of leggings, men's leggings, and so he's kind of a very wicked character.
There we go.
So I pulled out this kind of reptile kind of pattern.
Did you choose that, or did he like want to, or he just told you like?
Well, he kind of gave me ideas of colors and things that he would like, and then I kind of just picked some of my paintings I thought would match. And I go into my program and I'm able to rearrange things. And I was actually thinking the other day, I'm going to try and do like a video of that process. Yeah. Of the making of
you can do like a time lapse and
I've been just calling them, they get little tags, each one. So each of the leggings are completely unique. I may use the same painting, right, but I don't use the same pattern on anybody else's pants. Nice. Nice. And that's partly because I want people to have unique art, but also because of cost. Right. And but initially I had these little tags on the waistband, and they just said Odyssey Arts 2021. It tells you you've got a unique product. And you're supporting local art. But now, thanks to my partner in crime, Nathan, we have a new name for the pants. Oh, all right. And it's just Arty Pants. Arty Pants. Arty Pants. So you got to get your Arty Pants from me, and all of them now have Arty Pants labels. And that may be like a new clothing line I'm starting or something. I'm not sure.
So, out of curiosity, how do people reach out to you? How do they get a hold of some of your art? I know you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, you have pages.
Facebook is really my main page right at the moment. I am on Instagram a lot, and you can reach me on either one, really.
And it's under just Odyssey Art, right?
Odyssey Arts Ohio or Odyssey Arts OH. Okay. And then I also on Instagram, because yes, I do music, and yes, I do art, or painting, but I also do photography. It's just for fun, though. You can't. It's not like I don't expect to hire me. That's too much commitment. Right. Right. And but I do love to take photos, and so I have an Instagram photography channel as well, which is just Odyssey Arts OH Photo. Okay. And it's linked on they're all linked. Yeah. And you can find all of them. Once you find Odyssey Arts Ohio, you'll find me. And sorry. Finger gun. Right. You're dead.
Pilot. We haven't got to the story yet.
I actually just started a Google listing. So I am actually listed on Google now. All right. As an artist. Nice. You can look me up.
So you can never get off Google. All my business is still I still got updates from. It's like 3 people has visited your site. That's been closed since 2002.
Oh, well, I totally still get stuff all the time about Music Connection. Right. Like constantly. Oh, yeah, I get weird stuff and junk emails and strangeness.
People send you messages like, when's that show again? I forgot.
Nah. So, I've been printing all this stuff up, and, all the pieces are custom. I'm never printing this particular pillow design again for anyone else other than my friend. And in addition to that...
Saw some letters on there? Did you put... Was it O?
It says OA on the bottom.
Oh, very nice.
Which is for Odyssey Arts. But I do try to keep it fairly...
I just look at...
you want me to add no way to yours?
That's all right. And just so you know, one thing I love about the sectional one that I got from her is that it was actually made to go across longwise. Yes. But I like the fact that I can move it around. So right now I have it down, but depending on how I move art around, I may put one layer here, or straight across, or there's just so many things you can do. I love as my couches are sectional. There's one couch that I move around.
And I don't put any hangers on any of my art because of that. I don't I have my own interpretation of how I painted it and what I think, and not. Just because I painted it a certain way doesn't mean I always think it should be hung that way either. Right. I totally will flip things over and see something and be like, oh, it should really be this way. But when someone purchases it, I don't include a hanger because I feel like you can just hang it any way you want.
Right, which is good because I can't even remember. I was supposed to look across the one there. I know
I sign it, and maybe you can tell from that, which direction I interpreted as up or whatever.
Plus with my limited space here in my townhouse is that I have to, like, as I move art around and stuff, it's nice to be able to have different size pieces that I can kind of move around, almost so we could, like, be in 3 different areas. So because I have to be versatile, like, in my area, everything's got to be, like, rearrangeable, movable, because I don't have a lot of space to just always have things out. So like I said, this only works because of my sectional couch. I'm able to, like, move this around and push it back.
I love sectionals for that.
It's really been a lifesaver. And she also has some coffee mugs on there too.
These are pretty popular. Yeah. I do sell a lot of coffee mugs, and they're ceramic coffee mugs, so they're pretty good, sturdy, and they all have color inside. And each one is, again, unique and completely unique. And I usually keep several of those on hand, but I totally do commission work. It doesn't increase your price any just because you asked me for something specific. Mm-hmm. So
that's how I did. I reached out to her and said, "Hey, this is the color I like. This is, I really like." I even pointed out some paintings that I liked that I came across. Like, I really like this one. I really like this one. It's like, can we combine those? Because there's certain colors or certain things that when it comes to art. It's not just paint. It's like it speaks to you. So there's something in the way the colors flow.
Absolutely, and I definitely want stuff to speak to people.
Yeah.
Like,
I love these paintings.
I was like, yeah, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Okay. And then after I started printing stuff, I got real crazy, and I had a friend of mine who came to me and asked me if I would paint an electric guitar for him. And I was like, well, I haven't actually painted a guitar before. We happened to have a cheapy little guitar on hand at our house. And I was like, well, let me try this out on this guitar first, which is not the same thing, by the way. And trying to paint an acoustic guitar versus an electric guitar is a whole other animal. But it gave me an idea, at least, right?
Right,
So I did it on that, and I was like, well, that turned out pretty good. I think I can try this. And because he was giving me a kit body. So it was all taken apart. It didn't have anything in it. And I had to prime it and everything.
Right.
But, and it was a crazy adventure. And it had a lot of failure points that I had to come back and fix things. But it turned out really cool.
Yeah.
Really, really cool in the end. He's in Trees and Wells. So if you ever want to check it out. And it was inspired by the Joker.
Oh, really? That's pretty cool.
So it's like purple and green and black with like a splash of red, bloody red across it. Like
that's pretty cool.
The only thing I was like the back came out better than the front.
Oh, it was it's because yeah. Well, I mean, you don't have anything in the front, in the back. It's all flat.
Yes, exactly. There's nothing to interrupt the visual
flow or anything. Yeah.
And so then I painted another guitar for another friend of mine up in Troy, who's in a band called the Kool-Aid Cult, John Hendry, and also owns Trojan City Music, which is killer local music store up in Troy. Please go support that if you're anywhere up there.
Absolutely.
And then today I brought with me I got another little cheapy guitar. My guy's nephew brought it over. We were going to try and garage sale it or something for $5 or whatever.
Right.
But I was like well, it's not really playable. It's not really a playable guitar.
Right.
It doesn't sound real
But it can easily be turned into an art piece because,
And the back is always cooler to paint than the front. You got better surface.
Yeah.
And so this one's painted, but it still has to be finished.
Right.
And
the side too.
I just painted up the black on the sides to make that a little bit cleaner, and cleaned off a bunch of paint on the neck that I had been messy with.
Right.
And I took those strings off. I'm trying to decide. The front's still pretty cheapy and yucky looking, and I'm trying to decide what I want to do with that. I may just paint that black as well. But mainly, you can probably see it here, but I can't. They won't be able to see it on there, but it's actually shimmery and shiny.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of hard to see right now still, right?
Yeah.
So there's a couple ways I finish guitars, and one is with they'll just do a real thin coat of poly. Which looks cool and protects it and everything. But I really love finishing them with resin. and finishing paintings with resin, it's so much harder and finickier and expensive.
Yeah, that is so cool. I mean,
If you get it wrong, you can head down some deep trouble. But it will make all of the sparkles and everything look so much better, and it's just way cool.
That is really cool. I love the different mediums.
It's just way cooler.
Yeah.
So like the coasters that I brought with me, I've also done coaster sets and stuff, and those are resin.
Yeah.
So that's a lot more durable and pretty cool.
So she also has the coasters too. In case
I
you
got
didn't know.
everything. If you got something you want painted, hit me up.
And the nice thing is that because if she works like commission, per person, she can make coasters that match artwork. So she can, if you want to get coasters or if you want to get that match your painting, so you have a room theme, she can do that. Which is really cool. I like that because it really just kind of like you can tie a room together with the colors in one. That's really pretty cool. Have coffee cups sitting out on the coasters. It can be, opposing colors, so it really stands out.
My tagline for Odyssey Arts is "Live it, wear it, share it," and it's kind of I try to
have it on the top there.
Live it, wear it, share it, and living it is it's things like the coasters, and the mugs and the pillows and the leggings and stuff like that. Wear it obviously is the leggings, and I make dresses and swimsuits and
real quick I wanted to show this real quick. So this is actually over at Elmatic, the brewery here at Huber Heights. This is some of her work on it. And one thing I like to put this up there, you can see the dress on there. You can see the coffee cups. I'm glad you brought stuff with you because you kind of have to look closely to see it. But you can see the different mediums that's up there. I really love that really long red and black and orange one.
Thanks.
I'm really surprised it's not gone yet because I was like looking at them like I may have to go get that one because that looks really, really good. I mean,
I would really like it if someone came and found something awesome this month. If you get up there, you see something and it's like, oh, I'm not sure.
Right.
Message me.
Right, well, not only that, but you can get ideas from this because when you come and you look at the dress, like, I really like that dress, but I wish it was like, looks like that painting up on the black and red, the flames, like, and she can do that, So,
I absolutely can do that.
Yeah, and we bounce back and forth as far as, like, when we were working on the painting. I mean, she really wants to make sure you love your painting, which I get this back, I got my painting back, and I tell you, it was, I fell in love the moment, I saw it. It was like, it's just very beautiful. I was like, it's like
and
all
then
the colors that...
The thing about art, though, is, like, I'm sure you figured out... I mean, you saw the painting and you get this close-up, but then having it in your hand and seeing it in person is a whole other thing with art. It's especially this particular type of art because there's so much detail.
Yeah, right.
There's all these little tiny webs and crazy things happening, and you can't see that from 5 feet away. You have to get right up on it.
Right. And that's exactly. That's one thing why, if you get a chance to go visit it over at Elmatic, go make sure you go take a look. But you also do, there's other places. I think there's do you still...
I do have my art at one other place. At Elmatic, I just want to make sure I point out, if you go there and you purchase art from me this month, 30% of my sales will go to a charity called Scleroderma Foundation, and that is in honor of my friend Carissa, who passed away last month, Carissa Kimberly, from scleroderma. She fought that for a really long time, was a huge inspiration to me, was part of my family, part of my musical family, and just an all-around amazing person. So 30% of my sales this month will go to that, and so greatly appreciate your support and helping me donate to that. That would be something. I would appreciate it very much. And the other place you can find my work this month is pretty much all the time, not just this month, but all the time is a place in Springfield called Speakeasy Ramen.
Okay, very nice.
And it's a restaurant on the east side, kind of the east side of Springfield. And they serve some fantastic ramen and different kinds of... I always think of it as Japanese food, but I don't know that it actually is Japanese food.
I think of it as poor food. But I love ramen noodles. Like, I have like a whole bag in there. I mean, obviously this fancier ramen noodles, like made much 10 times better. But when I think of ramen, all I can think of, as most of us, like, college dorms and, surviving through your 20s. And
yeah, they have these like shrimp rangoons and that are just not like any other rangoon you've ever had. And they have these wonderful Japanese fried chicken. like tacos. Oh, they're so good.
Oh, wow. All right.
And it's reasonably priced, and it's delicious.
Yeah.
And they support local art.
They support local art is a big
So
thing,
I've had my art up there on pretty constant rotation for darn near a year and a half.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I've sold, the most art I've sold is definitely through there.
Yeah.
So I appreciate all of their support as well. And they have a lot of other really cool artists there. And it's not just paintings. They have other kinds of art there too.
Yeah, definitely make sure you go up there and check that out. And I first came across Alematic here, and when I came across there and saw both these pieces of art on the wall.
I was going to ask you if you got both of these. I thought you did.
This one I actually got the first time I was there from one of the artists that actually supplies paintings for the bar itself, the brewery. But then that was last month's local one, and I told them about Kim. I was like, hey, he's like, I got this artist. She's really good. She does canvas. It's like, cause they mentioned like they're real like canvas painting and stuff. And I was like, she does canvas too. I just got some artwork from her. You should definitely check her out. Told Kim about about them, and so they kind of matched up. So I was like so excited. I actually went in there to buy that one, and I reminded them about Kim. I was like, oh wait, she's coming in next month. So I was like, oh perfect. I'm glad you guys finally met up and finally she's getting her artwork in there. So if you live in the area,
see, now you're connecting me.
Yeah, I love supporting like local breweries, local art, local wines. I mean, anybody who knows me is just because I'm a small time writer. I'm not famous or anything. I love to write for a passion, but I've really I love the stories behind things. Like if you go to buy art at like Target or something like that, it may be pretty, but what's the story? You buy it at Target. It's like each one of these paintings that I buy, and the different wines from the different vineyards I buy, and local breweries that I go and visit. There's a story behind it. You get to meet the people behind it. Plus, they're part of your community too.
It's kind of like the difference between hearing live music in person or hearing it over the radio.
Right.
Like, it's just not, there's not a comparison.
Right.
And you can hear that same song, and you can play it as loud, you can have the best stereo system and whatever, but when you're right in front of it, it's a whole other ball game. So it's kind of like that same thing.
And there's something to be said about going to concerts too and seeing the bigger bands and stuff. I tell you, there's something special too about seeing local music. Like it's more intimate. You're in a small bar. You're with family and friends a lot of times. You're running the same people as you go visit these local bands and stuff in the same circles. And it really turns into more like a homecoming type party. So it's definitely a lot of fun. To listen to local bands compared to like the bigger ones.
Speaking of local bands, repping my Gray Veil shirt today. The Gray Veil, killer heavy band from Dayton. Definitely look them up. The Gray Veil.
You sure you're out of the Dayton music scene?
Man,
it's in your blood. I don't know. It's calling you.
Well, I do have to admit, I do actually I sang a song with these guys. So, fair, what do they call it? Disclosure.
Disclosure, right. So, do you have any, I know you had one, was it last Saturday? Did you have shows or this weekend?
We actually, Far From Eden did our first 2 shows in, a year and a half.
Right.
Hadn't done anything in, 17 months. 19 months. And then we had 2 shows within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And they were amazing.
Yeah.
It was a blast. We played with Reign of Athena and Blackwater at Station 1 in Springfield.
Nice.
Which is a fantastic outside venue if you're looking for some outside live music and not quite comfortable with being inside yet. And then last weekend we were at the Courtyard in Inglewood.
Yeah, I've been there once to watch. My brother played there not too long. Beginning of last year, because it's been a long time for him to play too.
Also, a really cool venue. Definitely, they're hugely supportive of local music. And
I did it. I forgot my TV was on, and it just turned bright white for no reason. I was turned to a screensaver.
Yikes!
It's God telling us time's up. But yeah, so it's good to see you back in music. Do you have any more shows coming up?
No. We actually we have been talking though. We are we're ready. We think we're actually ready to start doing things again. So
good.
We've got some plans in the works for that. As far as what's coming up for my art, I'm still at, of course, Alematic all this month, and then I'm always have art in rotation at Speakeasy Ramen. But then next month, I'm actually doing a live painting at Apple Fest in St. Paris.
Oh, very cool.
I was very kindly invited to do some art demonstration. And it's a 1 hour live 2 hour live demonstration of art. So if you're interested in acrylic pouring or, other kinds of art, because there's actually 2 other artists, Joe Augustin and Anthony Gunther. I think that's. I so
I don't know,
apologize if
yeah.
I butchered your name. I apologize. But yeah, they're going to be also doing live demonstrations, and everyone will have art for sale. So that's pretty cool. That's coming up September 12th, which
Very
is
nice.
Sunday.
It's my birthday.
Oh,
So, yes.
come party with us.
I may go party with you. I don't know. I may not be able to leave, though. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I'm old, so I don't really, do that anymore.
It's still 2 o'clock in the
It's
afternoon.
still 2 o'clock on a Sunday.
Yeah, wait till it's like 3 at least.
You're going to make baby Jesus cry. Be good. It's funny because I had my last dojo here in Newport Heights, and I closed it back in 2015. But one thing I always wanted to do when I first opened it, I had a big 2,000 square foot space.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to start having art shows on the weekends.
That'd be sweet.
I tried reaching out to artists and tried to get them in, but that was back around like 2013 and stuff, and it wasn't really. It's not like it is now with the environment where it's local arts are really booming along local music and everything else. So I had a hard time.
It's crazy. I think it's always really been there.
Right. Yeah.
It's just that we're now so much more connected.
And that, absolutely.
And then when you find out that there's all this stuff like right around you that you have been missing, you're like, why?
Right.
Why do I not know about this?
How did I not know about this? Like,
well, just reach out.
Yeah.
Look for it. When you look for it, you'll find it. That's for sure.
So, Kim, thank you so much for showing us your art.
Yeah.
Like I said, she'll be over at Alematic. I'm wearing their shirt right here in Huber for the whole month of August. So we're already halfway through. So if you haven't had a chance to get there yet, go out and take a look at her art again.
And they're only open Wednesday through Sunday.
Yeah, they're only open.
You can't catch them on Monday and Tuesday. So.
Yeah, so they're actually today they're open. They just opened up.
Yes.
I'm actually going there after the show for a little bit.
Right.
Because I want to definitely take a look at her art. Just taking a look at the pictures is not enough. I got to go look, in person too. But definitely reach out to Kim if you're interested to get some work commissioned. I'm going to have all our links below, so I'll be getting all your links from you, and I'll put them in the description so people can, reach out to you and stuff. But,
and I take Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, cash. Any way you want to pay me, pretty much, I'm good with that. So.
Yeah, when you're self-employed, you do that. I'm telling you with the books. I pimp out books like you wouldn't believe. I'm like sometimes I used to do last year. So I started doing it back in 2019, and before COVID really got bad, I started doing the Uber. Can't do it in my car because I have
not done Uber.
Now. I used to love Uber, but I actually two birds with one stone. I used to have my books in the back that people can read while they're in the Uber, and I had a tablet because I'm in IT and I do some video stuff, and I actually had like a little ongoing commercial like. With my trailers on there,
nice.
And buy the book, and actually would take square up. So when you're self-employed, and you're a creator, you're your own pimp, you're your own hustler. You got to get out there and you got to make your shit work. You got to get out there, you got to push it on people.
And if you meet me out and like just out and about, I swear I'm probably not like this at all. Like I go into a mode when I'm in doing my self-pimping. God forbid me.
Hashtag put in a t-shirt.
For saying that. No, don't do that, please don't do that. But yeah, it's kind of a mode that I can get into now. But I'm not generally. If you come and hang out with me, I'm seriously not like pushing my stuff on you. I swear. It only here and now when it's appropriate.
Right. But she's surrounded by it. She wears it. So,
I do. Well, I like it, so why not?
And she's an artist. Like, most people come across you like on Facebook. That's how I found, I already knew you, but I really came across your art on Facebook and Instagram when you started doing some of your posts and stuff. Like, oh, it's like, I didn't know you were doing that. That's crazy.
And I do other art too. I do portraiture, and I love to do pen and pencil work, and so I'm down for those kinds of projects as well.
Okay, yeah, I'll take a look at those too, because I do like all different kind of mediums as well too. So, all right, so you ready to get into the story?
Yes.
All right, so today we're going to take a look at my story, Emma. And this is one of the few characters that I've created where it's actually going to have her own series at some point. But instead of having her do the voices, I'm going to have her narrate because I realize there's not much dialogue in there. So, one of the bonuses of that is that I normally pick this stories when I have a female guest because it's hard for me to find people to do female voices. But I want her to get the most out of this, so she's going to narrate. So you now get to hear me do female voices. So most people only get to hear that on my podcast and probably don't believe it's really me. They probably think it's like a real woman and how feminine it sounds. But
well, and I have a low voice,
right,
so you might be thinking you're listening to a man.
So now you're gonna hear me and you get to see like how I roll. And I'll be doing both voices. So at some point I'll be talking to myself sometimes, but that's gonna be fun. So we're gonna read Emma. This is one of my stories again from Volume 1 from my Short Stories of a Madman Volume 1. Available now. Actually, I'm available. Volume 2 is already out. And Volume 3 is coming out in a couple months. But yeah. So she's kind of got some gifts developing, and
now is this just a section from your book, or
no,
from this story, or is this the whole story?
This is the whole story.
Okay, awesome.
Surprisingly, she does show up in a later story. Spoiler alert: she does show up in like the story Night Stalker, because she is going to have her own series. So I am going to have her popping up in other stories as I go, and eventually having her own stories. But this is where it all kind of started in this little story right here. So
okay, all
right. So we're going to read today for you, Emma.
And it looks like I am doing most of the reading here.
You are doing most of the reading. I'm going to sit back. As a matter of fact, I'm going to, while you talk, I'm going to pour myself a drink and keep this party going.
How you are. Okay. Emma's dreams seemed to be getting stranger and stranger as she grew older. She could remember when she was very young, she'd have vivid dreams of flying through exotic places, snow-covered mountains, rainy forests, and dry deserts, to name just a few. As she grew older and technology advanced, she soon came across pictures of some of the places she had visited in her dreams. While her curiosity was piqued, a fear grew inside her. She couldn't understand how she was able to dream of places that she'd never been to or even heard of. She used to tell her parents about her dreams when she was little, but once she realized they were real places, she was afraid of what they'd think. Once she left home for college, it was easier to keep from telling her parents, but she was still unable to fully understand or control what she was dreaming. One of her college courses was in psychology, and one day in class, her teacher began talking about ESP, telekinesis, and oral projection. When she got back to her dorm, she got online and began learning everything she could about oral projection. The clock on her phone showed 3 a.m. by the time her eyelids got heavy and she fell asleep. She had studied a few tricks about controlling dreams that she hoped would help her determine if she was in fact oral projecting, or if she needed to look into other possibilities.
Well, I like that word, don't I? Oral projecting, oral projection.
I
just use it over and over again.
It's
not oral, O-R-A.
I think that's
oral.
Yes.
It's like Carl and Coral.
But we can't help it. We're human, right? I mean,
I do a lot of repetition in my stories.
That's okay.
It's not until you hear it back, you're like, holy crap, I say that a lot.
Yeah, and you have to read it out loud sometimes in order to hear that.
Absolutely.
That night, she dreamt she was flying over the city, but instead of just being an observer, she used a trick she had read about to realize she was in a dream and attempted to control what was happening. Before she knew it, she had taken control and she began flying side to side.
Yahoo!
She yelled.
I did it on my short story too. Gotta make it fun, she's flying.
As she swooped towards the ground. She still didn't know if she was only dreaming or really projecting, but she didn't care. She felt free and she was going to enjoy it. As she looked below, she saw cars, people, and bright lights all around her. It was a while before she realized she couldn't hear anything. There was no sound, and she was surprised she hadn't noticed immediately.
You think she noticed it when she yelled?
Not being able to hear her freaked her out. Oh, see, plot twist there.
Yeah, I know. Uh-oh, gotta fix that.
Unless a person has ever been completely deaf, it would be hard to duplicate the utter lack of sound. For someone like Emma, who had never even briefly lost any part of her hearing, it was truly frightening to her. She jolted awake.
Dun dun dun.
She was happy to have her hearing back, but she was disappointed that she had woken up. She didn't know she would be able to take control of her dreams again, or know for sure if she had been projecting, or only dreaming. Even worse, she couldn't get back to sleep.
That's always the worst.
The whole day, while in classes, she counted down to the time when she could get home and try again. When the professor dismissed the class, Emma jumped out of her seat, surprising the rest of the class, like I finger gunned you earlier.
Yeah, exactly. They all put their hands up. They all react the same way I did.
She didn't want to accidentally wake up this time, so when she got home, she took a slightly higher dosage of her sleep aid than normal. Ooh, what kind of things are you endorsing?
I don't know, right? The non-habit forming.
Okay, good.
ZQuil.
I like that. It took a couple hours before the medicine kicked in, so it wasn't too strong, right?
That's right.
But when she started to feel the drowsiness fill her, she laid down in bed and excitedly waited for sleep to overtake her. Once again, she found herself flying through the clouds above the city. She thought it was strange that she didn't find herself appearing in some exotic location. But she also knew it would be easier to locate details of her flight within her own city.
Now, I will tell you, though, that, there's a lot, someone asked me earlier, there's any parts of my own life that I put into my story stuff, and all writers kind of write what they know.
Sure.
I actually, when I have trouble sleeping, and I try not to do it too much during the week anymore, I would take NyQuil to help me sleep. And it's funny because I know it takes about 2 hours for me to kick in. So I take it at 8 o'clock, knowing by 10 o'clock. So it's one of those things I was reading that's I guess I was taking NyQuil that long ago. I guess it's been a while.
I was going to ask you, did you do studies on this?
Did you do studies on this? Or how did you find that? Yes.
Yeah. It was self-studies. What was your research on
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It's funny because the NyQuil is the only thing that helps you sleep. I've tried ZQuil, I've tried sleep aids, melatonin. Nothing ever works. NyQuil is the only thing that puts me out. But yeah, it helps me sleep.
Now you know what the good stuff is.
I know, right? I don't know if that works for everybody. I'm sure ZQuil is fine for most people, but
yeah, probably does not work for everyone.
Right.
Because we're all so different. But once again, she found herself flying through the clouds above the city, and she thought it was strange that she didn't find herself appearing in some exotic location. But she knew it would be easier to locate details of her flight within her own city. Out of instinct, she lowered herself into an alley. She wasn't sure how this worked if she bumped into people, but she figured for now she'd just observe.
Yeah, stalker.
Panic sunk in again when she landed on the ground, but didn't feel anything. No pressure, no texture, nothing. After a few steps, she was able to adjust. She was then able to walk somewhat normally.
Well, you were walking without feeling, so I can't even only imagine how that would feel walking
like
without
cats
feeling the ground.
walking with booties
right, you don't
or
feel
something.
you don't feel the ground. You just
she wandered the streets, taking in as much as she could, and she was looking at bar signs, papers on the ground, anything with a date or event or something significant she could compare to the next day when she woke up. From time to time, she would fly back into the air in order to travel to another part of town faster.
Now, I should point out when she flies like this. So I probably should demonstrate as we're doing. She's not super.
Hey, yeah, I like that.
That's how I always envision her flying. When she's flying, she's always flying like a plane. Don't know why. That's how Emma does it. That's right. She has to do the whole one arm out, 2 arms out, She's very playful when she flies.
Why not? I mean, if you could fly, I would want to experience it as well. I'd be like, oh, yeah, see what we can do.
I'm making sounds and everything. Wow. All right.
Yeah, I thought there would be more sound effects.
I know. Well, so far she can't hear, touch, or
true. Okay. Fair enough. So, let's see here. She was studying a piece of paper on the ground when a woman walked right through her. And the woman walking through her caught her off guard, of course, and she turned to see her walking away. She didn't feel anything when the woman walked through her. She only knew the woman had because she had blocked Emma's view of the paper. She watched as the woman began to shrink in the distance. Emma was about to move on, but suddenly another person walked through her, making her jump once again.
Jesus, can I get a break?
People walking through her was beginning to freak her out.
I think I got that from the movie Ghost. When I was envisioning that, the whole ghost thing with Patrick Swayze, when people walk through him, he jumps a little bit because he's not used to it.
I think that's like a general ghost thing,
I think so too. Yeah. I'm not.
We would feel like some whisper of cold coming across us. Yeah.
I don't add anything to the field. I take what I've learned myself about.
Sure, why not?
People passing through you and assume what it feels like.
Has it ever happened to you? That's the question.
I don't know. In a dream? I don't know. I don't remember most of my dreams.
I don't remember any of my dreams.
Go to a bar, drink too much, try to walk through people. It doesn't work out very well, but that's probably not the same thing.
She was ready to get back in the air, out of the way of people, but there was something off about that person that had just walked through her.
Dun, dun.
She could tell it was a man, but that was all.
A man!
A man! Curious, Emma began to follow him. He seemed to be following the woman. The man followed the woman around the corner, and when Emma rounded the corner herself, a horrific sight awaited her.
Dun dun dun.
The man was attacking the woman, and Emma couldn't hear, but she could imagine the sounds that were being made by the struggling woman. She watched as the man pulled a knife out of his back pocket and began stabbing her. Emma ran to help the bleeding woman, but when she tried to grab the man, her hands went right through him. All Emma could do was watch the murder happen, unable to do anything to save her. It was at this moment that she hoped it was only a nightmare. She no longer wanted to be projecting.
Oral projecting.
Oral projecting. Emma couldn't move. She wanted to fly away, but she was held in place by the disbelief of what she had just witnessed. She watched as the man wiped his knife on the woman's dead body and then stood up. Emma no longer cared if this was only a nightmare. She wanted to memorize every detail of this murder, and she wanted to find him and see that he was punished. The man stood up and turned around, facing Emma. All of a sudden, the man's face contorted in an evil grimace. And he charged right at her.
Oh, that was right or not.
Emma's whole body tensed, ready for his attack. She woke up with a silent scream stuck in her throat. Once her heart rate had returned to normal, she ran to her computer to see if anything about what she had just seen had been reported. Her cold sweat grew colder as the story of the woman she had witnessed being murdered was on the front page of the local news site.
Holy crap, that was fast.
Yes!
Were you thinking that too?
Okay.
I guess one thing I didn't notice that I was writing, like, holy crap, she wakes up and the woman's on the news.
So my guy writes a lot too,
right.
And he's always writing short stories, and he's always going back, and we reading something, he'll have me reread it, and I'll be like, that same thing will happen. Like,
right.
Wait, what just happened here time-wise? I'm not sure, and we have to go back. He has to go back and edit stuff all the time. Thanks to me. I'm sorry.
The benefit of beta readers. That's why I have beta readers because continuity is like, they'll pick up on that sort of thing. They're like, wait a minute, wasn't he just on the other side of town like 2 minutes ago? Somehow they still got through Man of Steel with, people being on different sides of the city in a matter of minutes.
Still, I gotta know what happens. So,
Right, I did.
Okay. So she walked to her phone, where her phone was laying on the counter, to call the police, and when she heard a knock at the door. And the knock startled her, but she walked to the door to see who it was. I think that's like scary movie rule, like number 101.
Yeah,
don't answer the door. She opened it and dropped her phone when she saw that the killer was now standing in front of her.
Who are you?
He asked as she stood there frozen. Emma wanted to scream, but she couldn't move.
This is your only warning.
The man continued.
Stay out of my way, you freak, or I will kill you. Dun dun dun.
He bent down, picked up the phone, and held it out to her. Unable to stop herself, she reached out and took the phone out of his unstretched hand. She stood there paralyzed as he walked away. When he disappeared down the stairs, she quickly shut the door and called the police.
911, what's your emergency? I just assumed.
The operator said.
That southerner. It's your majesty.
Sweet ma'am. Sweet as pie.
Tell me your problems.
Instead, she said.
Instead, she said, yes, hello?
Emma stated.
The woman that was murdered. The killer was just at my door.
While she waited for the police, she went back and forth on what she was going to tell
It's like
them.
Norman Bates. No, mama.
She knew she wouldn't be able to tell the police what she had seen without being committed. Or, at the very least, not believed. When the detective arrived, she lied, and she said she'd been on a walk when she saw a man following the woman from the picture. Emma told them that she had lost sight of them when they both vanished down the alley where her body had been found, and she had continued her walk.
I just realized I spelled alley wrong. One of the two times. Is it with an E or without an E? I don't know, but one of the alleys did not have an E.
It didn't bug me.
Right. He must have seen me and found me somehow.
She lied. The detective finished asking her his questions and then left, giving her his business card and instructions for her to contact him if she remembered anything else. She only hoped that the description she had given him was enough for them to find him before he could kill again. Part of her was afraid to fall asleep.
Not what we do.
But a larger, stronger part of her felt compelled to find a way to stop the man from killing another woman.
Or she was just curious.
Yeah. Even if that meant distracting him by revealing herself. She took the same dose of her sleeping aid that she had the night before, and it wasn't long before she became drowsy. She laid down, ready for whatever may come. Once again, she found herself flying over the city. Now that she'd do it different each time.
Yeah, she should.
This time is Superman.
This time she's doing it like 70s style.
Staying alive.
That's how she gets to go forward. She just keeps moving it. There's some certain laws of physics in dreams. You have to, the power of unicorns. I don't know. I don't make sense sometimes.
Once again, she found herself flying over the city. Now that she knew she wasn't dreaming, but was in fact projecting, she was able to focus more.
Oral projecting.
She traveled straight to where the first attack had happened. Since she didn't have to worry about exhaustion, she began flying in a circular pattern, slowly widening the area she covered. That was not a circle, if you noticed what my hand did there. While she knew there was a chance the killer wouldn't strike again so soon after killing that woman, Emma was prepared to patrol every night until she found him.
As long as there's a chance to save a life,
she thought.
I'm going to try.
I can't really blame her. I got a couple people I might feel similar about.
Oh, shucks.
Time was starting to pass, and she knew she would have to wake up soon when suddenly she felt something wrap around her wrist like a lasso and jerk her out of the sky. Emma imagined that this was what a fish must feel like, caught on a line, and no matter how hard it struggled, it was slowly pulled towards its doom. Impending doom. She's like clawing back in the sky, trying to get back up. I'm only imagining. She struggled against the invisible rope, but to no avail. And though she didn't feel pain, she bounced hard on the ground. She stood up, struggling to regain her bearing. When she turned around, she found herself face to face with the same killer who had killed the woman in the alley and showed up at her door.
Okay, I'm not going to say the bad word this time, but,
Aww.
All right, fine.
Family friendly.
I warned you, stay away, bitch! I tagged in my inner Freddy Krueger for that one.
Do your man spit.
What?
It says the man spat.
Oh, did he? Oh, the man spat. I didn't read that part. I was like, what?
I think it's more like, I wanted you to stay away. But I don't know. I mean, you wrote it, so I'm just interpreting
super
it.
serial.
Emma didn't know how he had been able to pull her down, but she didn't think this lunatic would be able to hurt her.
I'm not afraid of you,
Emma said.
I'm going to keep patrolling until I find a way to stop you and see that you're brought to justice. I don't know where all of a sudden she turned into a...
Her eyes widened when a glow surrounded the man, and he seemed to duplicate, so that she found herself facing two killers. The glowing version of the killer stepped forward, and before Emma could react, he punched her in the gut.
Oh,
she was surprised at how much pain she felt. Excited by the pain he saw she was in, he began to wail on her, striking her with a barrage of punches and kicks. After she had fallen to the ground, he paused the assault long enough to enjoy the fear in her eyes before he finished her.
Oh my goodness.
Emma desperately searched around for a weapon, but she was unable to touch anything. A powerful fear began to consume her again, but rather than paralyze her, it empowered her.
Dun dun dun. Girl power! Now you know what it feels like to die. Why did my voice keep changing from like scene to scene? Emma doesn't even know who she is.
This is the man. This is the man.
Oh, is it? His voice is changing. Apparently he was kicked in the balls.
Yeah.
Now you know what it feels like to die in your sleep, freak.
The man spit at her and closed in to complete his attack. Well, I think you were actually just trying to be like, spitting words.
Spitting
words,
spat.
not spit. Actual spit.
Spatting at you.
No, okay. So Emma screamed as loud as she could. Scream.
Ah! There we go.
I don't know. I don't think that counted. I think you should do it again, don't you?
Okay, I can do it. Okay. I'm going to tap into my...
Emma screamed as loud as she could.
Ah!
Though it was more mental than verbal. See how I got you there?
I know. I did my Jamie Lee Curtis. Just channeled her in.
As the man came in for his final strike, he vanished. Emma looked past where the glowing attacker had been standing and saw that the solid version of the killer had collapsed. There was a giant gash coming from his head, and when she moved closer to get a better look, she saw that a brick had been impaled into his skull. That's pretty serious, putting a brick through a skull.
Some Sith shit.
Well, she did. I think she oral projected it into his skull.
Oral projection!
Well, she did a quick search to see who her savior may have been. Deep down, she knew the truth. She had somehow mentally thrown the brick at him with enough force to kill him. See, I was right. I was right. Totally right.
Yeah.
Emma spoke. Sorry, I blew the story in advance.
Spoilers!
Spoiler. Like one line before it was actually out.
For all you that are still awake, spoiler!
Emma awoke in her bed, feeling spiritually sore. She knew what had happened that night was real, the killer was dead, and while she felt guilty about having killed someone, she took solace in the fact that she had taken a killer off the streets and possibly saved lives. Fear was soon replaced with courage as she realized that not only could she patrol the streets in her sleep, but that she had learned that she could also move objects with her mind. A smile crept across her face. It was time to begin her training. And that leads into additional stories.
Woo! Yes, she pops up in one other one, and she will have her series.
Do you already have these more stories written for her?
No, just the one. She's in. She pops up in my later story called Night Stalker.
Okay, just in Night Stalker, but you haven't plans.
No, I don't. I have
plans to make more.
Yes, to make more for her. Yeah, I haven't written it. There's a few characters I come across where I'm like, this one is going to be a series. That's for sure. Okay, so
she seems really cool. I mean, I'm.
I liked her too.
Like if I was oral projecting and found out I could do that,
oral projection,
and I found out that I could find killers, and I probably want to do some good with that. I'd have to make myself some sweet Odyssey Arts outfit, right, and be a superhero. Totally.
Now
can you carry the outfit into your oral projection? That's the question.
I don't know. And I did used to watch movies they had Dreamscape, and of course Nightmare on Elm Street series, about dreams and stuff. So I think there's some of those things that kind of prop the idea of Emma. I can't remember if there was a story somebody had been reading at the time. A lot of times I'm watching watching a show, listening to a song, and it just kind of pops in my head, and I kind of go off from there. But
All right, so
what
you got here for me?
So here's the game we're going to be playing tonight. So I have this collection. I have this calendar my kids got me for Christmas, and it's a bad dad jokes calendar. And I always plan on I save them because I always plan on when I do my live stream and stuff doing an episode. Well, I never really got around to it. So now we have a big pile of them. So what we're going to do is we're going to run through them, and just for the next few minutes, we're just going to run down these jokes. Now we do have an added feature on this. I decided since none of you are here to laugh, I'm just going to assume that you're going to laugh and that you're laughing with us. So I did create. Let me go ahead and download that, and of course when it's really good. Thank you. So yeah, just
Can you play them both at once?
I can.
What? See that?
Yeah, right. I gotta mix it up. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pump through these. Let's see. I don't think.
So we're just gonna read them off to each other.
Yes, we're just gonna go back and forth.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And I'll go first. So we'll do the joke, and then we'll do the punchline, and then we'll just slap it down right here. We'll get through as many as we can. All right.
Okay.
All right.
I still think laughter's not my forte, but we'll try this anyway.
It's only about comedic timing on this one.
Bad? Okay.
There's no way to mess that up.
Totally screwed.
Let your kids watch movies with you. Only pirate movies are rated R.
I'm just itching to tell you about my allergies.
A steak pun is rare, medium, well done. Steak pun is a rare medium. Oh, a steak pun is a rare medium, well done.
Oh. Definitely dad joke. Because dads love them steaks. I've just written a song about tortillas. Actually, it's more of a rap.
Why don't fish pass their exams? Because they work below sea level. The letter C. Wonk.
Why did the sad ghost use an elevator?
I don't know.
To lift his spirits.
Warning, don't accept a friend request from Hormel Foods. It might be spam.
Oh. Does anybody even know what spam is these days?
The Breakfast of Champions.
Oh, it makes me feel old. Why? What do karate fighters wear under their clothes?
I don't know what.
Boxer shorts.
True story.
They would totally never wear boxers.
True story. No. What do you call a dinosaur that's also a towel? A triceratops. A triceratops. Oh my God.
Knock knock. Who's there? Oh wait, I got ahead.
It's funny.
See, I told you I was terrible.
It's funny because I've got a knock knock joke too. Knock knock. Who's there? Mikey. Mikey who? Mikey doesn't fit in the key. My key doesn't fit in the keyhole. I need to add another sound effect.
Mikey. Knock knock. Who's there? Figs. Figs who? Figs the doorbell. It's broken. Okay.
I'm selling a TV for $1, but it's broken and it's stuck on the highest volume. It's something you can't turn down.
Why is the barn so noisy?
Why?
Because the cows have horns.
But these are just kind of matching up. What do cows order from? Cattle logs.
Oh, of course. My nephew would love some of these for sure. As a doctor, I never make a joke about an unvaccinated baby. But let me give it a shot. How apropos is that?
That's what I need on there. I need drums. What does a cloud wear under its raincoat? Thunderwear.
Oh. I wonder if songbirds think hummingbirds just forgot the words.
I wonder that myself sometimes.
No.
Why did the Scottish man have plumbing issues?
Why?
He only had bagpipes.
Well, that'd be some terrible pipes. What age do you think it's appropriate to tell a highway it's adopted?
I don't know. That was pretty good, yeah. Why did the large bucket think the small bucket was sick? It was a little pale.
The shovel was a groundbreaking invention.
Why can't a nose be 12 inches long? Because then it would be a foot.
Oh. Every day at breakfast, I announce that I'm going for a jog, and then I don't. It was my longest running joke of the year.
Knock knock. Who's there? Tank. Tank who? You're welcome.
Oh. Why? This is totally wrong.
This is totally wrong.
It says why, but it's supposed to be what kind of bread do lemons eat? It says why kind of bread do lemons eat? That's what it says on this calendar. I'm not fooling.
What does it say?
Why kind of bread?
You sure it's not way? Oh, it is why.
Why kind of bread do lemons eat? And clearly it's supposed to be what kind of bread do lemons eat? Sourdough.
Apparently no one does spell check on these things. They only sell them by the thousands and don't read them.
Sourdough, by the way. Just in case you were curious.
My seasickness comes in waves.
What kind of tree fits in your hand? A palm tree.
That's awesome. Why was the robot so tired after his road trip? He had a hard drive. Oh, wait, the robot. He had a hard drive.
Yeah.
Helps if you say it right.
My friend David lost his ID. Now we call him Dave.
Dav.
I
was a thinker at work. A lot of people had struggle with that one because ID, like a driver's license ID, took it out of David.
My friend David lost his ID.
Where did Captain Hook buy his hook? A secondhand store.
Oh. What happened to Napoleon when he got struck by a cannonball?
What?
He was Napoleon blown apart. Ah!
Some people say I'm too vague, but you know what the saying. But you know how the saying goes.
You should meme that for Facebook.
Right.
Next person who vague books you. I hate that. What do airplanes and prison inmates have in common? You can find them following their contrails.
Trail. C-O-N. Trails. Yeah, some of these you just have to read. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a little slow sometimes.
Oh, this is a common one. How does Moses take tea? How does Moses make tea?
I have no idea.
He brews.
Oh. Just learned the word for constipation in German. Oh, this is far from pooping.
Far from pooping.
Which is terrible. Yeah, because my band's name is Far From Eating. And it has nothing to do with the German word for constipation. I swear to God, if you come up to me and try and tell me that, I might have to give you a little smack.
That's right. Gotta throw down.
It will no longer be family friendly.
The past, present, and future walk into a bar. It was tense.
What do you call a dog with a metal detector?
What?
A gold retriever.
How do you know when dad jokes are bad? When they become apparent.
I went down to the paint store to get thinner. It didn't work.
Did you hear about the circus fire? It was intense.
Oh.
Oh, man.
Bad place for a fire.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, man. Stop it. You're too much.
Yeah.
Stop. Thank you so much for joining me, Kim. I appreciate it. This was so much fun. She's got some great art. Make sure, I feel like I should have like a live band over here playing towards the end. That way, while I'm talking, it's a little more exciting than just a dead silence that's in this room right now.
I should have just like brought some of my music, and we would have just rocked that out.
Things to look in hindsight. I hope to have you on here again, and maybe we'll go that route.
Hey,
for sure. Maybe
cool.
by then I'll have a live band. Now, maybe it's just like some random people I drove up and I saw playing the guitar. Like, hey, how'd you make some quick money? Come to my place and play some live music. I don't know what that is. But anyways, take her artwork out. I'll have all the links.
Arts.
I'll have all of her links in the description below. Make sure you head over to Elmatic for the month of August. Just a couple more weeks left, so make sure you go out and check out her artwork that's hanging on the walls there. Support her art, support all local artists. They're just she works hard and she has beautiful art, and I know she wants to see it and see them in some good homes. So
and please, I appreciate supporting me as well, but. Really, this month is super important to me because of the show at Elmatic. If you go out and if you find a piece, hit me up.
Yep.
I really would like to make a great donation this month for Scleroderma Foundation, and again, 30% of my sales from Elmatic will go there.
Very nice. Yes.
I can't do it without your help.
Please be supportive of local art, definitely. And head out to Elmatic. She's there for another couple weeks. Go out there, peruse what she has on the walls, buy some, get some of her stuff. And then, of course, I'll have, like I said, links below that you can go buy her stuff. And, of course, thank you so much for joining me. We'll see you again next week. And don't forget, too, that my books are also on sale online as well, too. These short stories come in Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3 will be coming out here in a couple of months. So thank you so much for joining me. And I still have not added any kind. Thank you so much for coming. And I still don't have any kind of ending credits. So now comes the awkward part of me just kind of walking up and pushing stop streaming. One of these days, I'm going to freaking remember until it actually happens that I need some kind of end credits or some kind of music going. No, it doesn't have all I have is I guess I can laugh our way out.
Yourself out.
I'll just keep.
Hey,
I'll just keep
applause.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate. Oh, that's blocking my face. There we go. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye.